This video is for what is the quadratic formula. So inside here, the quadratic formula is another method for solving a quadratic equation. Be sure the equation is written in standard form. So we need it written in this format with ax squared plus b plus c. And so here's our formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And so what you want to do for your equation, if it's already in standard form, you want to pick out your letters. So for this one, a is 2, b is 7, and c is negative 9. And then we're going to plug into the formula. So you can see where we've plugged in negative 7, and then 7 squared, and all this. And so then we want to simplify down. And so what I always do first is I simplify what's inside the radical. So 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 9. And I get 121. And I stick that back in, and I always check it to see if it's a perfect square. And sure enough, it is. So then it will simplify down to negative 7 plus or minus 11 plus 4. So then you can type it in your calculator both ways. So we've got negative 7 plus 11 divided by 4 gives me a 1. And then I can just do it again, except change the plus for a subtraction sign. And so here I get negative 9 over 2 or negative 4.5. So in example 2, I'm not in standard form. So I've got to move things around here. So I want to move the 7 and I want to move the 2. So that way I end up with 4m squared minus 7n minus 2 equals 0. And then I can pick out my letters. So A is 4, B would be a negative 7, and C would be a negative 2. And then I come over here, plug everything in. And when I simplify down here, I get 49 plus 32. When I add those together, I get 81. And the square root of 81 is 9. And so here again, I've got 7 plus 9 divided by 8 gives me 2. And then 7 minus 9 divided by 8 gives me a negative 25 hundredths. And then finally, the last example, same thing, we've got to move around here. And so we're going to subtract w and 6 from both sides. And I will end up with 5w squared minus w minus 2 equals 0. So my A is 5, my B is negative 1, and my C is negative 2. And then I plug everything in where it goes. This time I end up with kind of a wonky, not a perfect square. And so when I work this one out, I don't round, I don't do any of that until the very end. So I would have 1 plus the square root of 41 divided by 10. And so it's going to come out the same. And then again, you just go back and you're going to change the plus to a subtraction. So the only thing that I do differently is I don't break this down yet. I go ahead and leave it as the square root of 41 and then do it both ways. So for that one, we get negative 54 hundredths. So that's it for this video.